Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Spooky Swans podcast. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jess. And today we got a special thing coming for you, but I wanted to start today's episode with a question.
Mm-hmm.
So, what if you traveled back in time and see your mom? How would that be?
Oh, like would I be able to be friends with her? That kind of thing?
Yeah, like would you be able to be friends with her? How would you go about introducing yourself to her? Would you tell her that you're her son from the future? What personality do you think your mom was?
I feel like my mom and I get along really well now, so I feel like we could be friends. However, I feel like me trying to introduce myself, my aunt would get in the way and just be rude and shut me out.
They went to high school together.
They did. The older aunt, she tends to look down on people. She's very snobby. So.
Oh, I forgot that they were pretty close in age. My mind went to your younger aunt.
No, she's great.
Just because we see her the most. Josh's mom's older sister doesn't live where we live, so we don't see her. We probably seen her. The last time we saw her was our wedding.
Jesus. Yeah, that was. Oh my god. I had to think about that. Yeah, I hadn't seen her since. Yeah, but yeah, I feel like she would immediately be like, "Oh, get away," and then that would be that. But I don't know how. Do you think you would get along with your mom?
So before I was telling Josh that it's a little weird to think about meeting my mom back in high school because my mom was a teenage mom. She got pregnant with me at 15 and had me at 16. So just to be around that age and thinking, how would that work for me if I traveled back in time? Would I be in her stomach? Or if I met her at like 17 or something, would I be born and just at home? Could I run into myself?
That would be kind of odd.
That would be odd.
Yeah.
So
Be hanging out with a baby, but
if I would be friends with my mom, not too sure. She was Miss Popular in high school. Not too sure if she was a mean girl or not. She claims she was not a mean girl, but don't mean girls usually say that?
They always say that.
Yeah.
Which,
maybe she thought she was nice, and then on the down low, people were like, ugh, she's so mean. I don't like her.
which it's kind of like the mom from the movie we watched, Totally Killer. Because the mom in the beginning, she's like the sweetest person ever. And then we meet her younger self, and she's like the town bitch.
Yep. So, as Josh mentioned, Totally Killer. So, let me tell you a little bit about Totally Killer, what it's about, and why we talked about time travel to begin with. So, it's about a girl named Jamie. She's a teenager. She's about the same age as her mother was back in the past, like 16, 17, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 2023. 35 years ago, there were 3 girls murdered in town. Their names were Tiffany, Heather, and Marissa. They were murdered back in 1987, and the murder was never solved. In the present time, her mother is murdered, and Jamie manages to escape the killer by time traveling back to 1987, before the first murder was taking place. So she has to team up with her mom, her teen mom, to try to solve the murder case.
Her teen mom, her dumb friends who haven't been killed yet, and the mother of her best friend in the present day. Um, because, well, going back a little before she goes back in time. So it's 2023. The movie, it starts off with they do like walking tours in her town of where the murders happened, which is really kind of, I don't know, a little mean spirited, I would think, because, yeah. And the guy's like, he has his own podcast that he talks mainly about that. And then he has the walking tour, and the people who show up for the tour dress as the killer, which is just
It's insensitive.
very insensitive. And it's, I don't know, the whole town kind of benefits from it though, because like he starts off like, this is where the first murder happened. The house has since been turned into this burger restaurant, and then one of the workers runs out and starts handing out free samples, and it's like really kind of messed up. But yeah, it's, oh my god, it's so funny. But
It is messed up, but it's not that type of movie. It's a 80s themed slasher, but make it funny and fun. And that's the type of movie it is. It has comedy in it, like Josh was leading up to. It is considered a horror movie also, and it has suspense in it. And it is streaming on Prime, if you want to give it a try. Came out in 2023.
it was, yeah, it stars Kiernan Shipka. You have Olivia Holt. Her dad's played by Lachlan Monroe, who you may know from Scary Movie 1. Fucking hilarious. Her mom's Julie Bowen from, you know, Modern Family, Happy Gilmore. But yeah, so it basically continues on. She's getting ready to go out to a concert, and her mom is like begging her not to go because she's like, this time of year, you know how on edge we are, and she's just not listening. She's like, it happened 35 years ago, get over it, kind of thing. And then she goes out and killer returns.
Yep, killer returns. Kills her mother in the present time. And eventually the killer comes after her.
Killer comes after her. Her friend is crazy smart. They show early on that she's doing her science fair project, which luckily enough is a time machine that she's been working on, based off of notes from her mom, because her mom is like really smart also. So she goes to see her friend after her mom was murdered, and the killer shows up and starts chasing her. And she runs, and as it happens, falls into the time machine. The killer goes to stab her and stabs the machine and sends her back in time. The day before the first murder happens. So she decides that she's got to try to warn her mom and her mom's friends of what's about to happen. But of course, everyone thinks she's insane because she's yelling that she's a time traveler, basically.
Yeah, so she tries to go about it any other person would have went about it. She meets her mom, and she's looking for her mom in the high school, asking for her and everything, and her mom like comes on the screen, and she's a bitch.
It's a raging bitch.
She's a raging bitch. Her friends are, like Josh said, dumb and also bitches. They are the mean girls. They are known as the Mollies altogether. They dress up a lot like Molly Ringwald.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was big in the 80s.
Yeah.
So obviously she's back in the 80s. And she gets like offended over a lot of things because back in the 80s, obviously a lot of things were more free.
They weren't as frowned upon as it is now. Like, for example, when she first arrives in 1987, she steps out of the time machine. Right away, everything's more colorful and bright and, like, fun. And she meets a woman who's standing there smoking a cigarette with her two kids, like, small children. And basically, she's like, "Oh, let me give you a ride to school." So she takes her to the station wagon and just smokes with the windows all rolled up, and the kids are in the back seat
Yeah, she's
inhaling
just
everything.
hotboxing the car,
Oh my god, it's so funny.
and you're just laughing because it's just like it's just one of those movies you just don't take seriously. If you like Back to the Future, Mean Girls, and Scream, then you will like this movie. It has elements of each of those movies combined into one.
They even use the joke from Back to the Future like several times. Because if you remember Back to the Future, he messes up. He almost calls George dad. He's like, daddy-o. And then they use that joke in this movie a lot. She's like, whoa,
Mamacita.
mamacita, ay, ay, ay. Like, what the? And I was like, what are you doing? But yeah, she does it a lot in this movie. But she gets to the school and she sees the mascot painted on the wall, and it's a red Native American. The team's called the Red Devils, and she's like, "Yep, there's the racism." It's just, oh my god, the movie's so ridiculous. But yeah, she meets her mom, who's played by Olivia Holt. You'll probably know her from, she was in Hard Eyes, right? That was her.
She's in Hard Eyes. She's also in Jingle Bell Heist. Those are the two most recent things that she's been in this past 2025, I believe, that came out. They're both streaming on Netflix if you want to check those two movies out. Or maybe you remember her from her Disney days. She was in a movie called Girl vs. Monster, and she was also in two shows. I don't believe Josh has seen these two shows because I'm pretty sure you aged out. I know I aged out, but I still watch a lot of Disney stuff because
What shows?
they're called Kicking It and I Didn't Do It.
So I've heard of Kicking It. I've never heard of the other one. I've never watched either. But,
Yeah, so Kicking It came out first. It's a karate show.
Okay.
And then I Didn't Do It. Don't even ask me what that show is about because I definitely aged out of that one. It didn't look appealing to watch, so I didn't watch it.
I was more of a Sweet Life of Zack and Cody kid. And then once they got on the cruise ship is when I stopped watching Disney.
So I continued watching shows on Disney. I know that I kept watching until like Good Luck Charlie. And actually, not too long ago, I think like last year, I was watching Good Luck Charlie and you came into the room and you were like, "Oh, what's that? This is funny."
It's really funny. We binged the whole series.
Yeah, so we binged the whole series start to finish. He didn't know what it was and I was like, "This is Good Luck Charlie." And he's like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh my god, you don't know what Good Luck Charlie is?" And he enjoyed it. I put Josh on Phineas and Ferb recently too.
Yeah, so whenever we have dinner, we have to be watching a show. So that's our new dinner show is Phineas and Ferb.
Usually it's Bob's Burgers, but Bob's Burgers hasn't come out with a new episode in a while. On Thursdays, it's Masked Singer.
Masked Singer, yeah, and then I leave the room and you watch Fear Factor.
I watch Fear Factor. I give myself anxiety.
You yell at the TV.
I yell at the TV. I tell people to go. I tell people to get over it. It's not that scary. But then in reality, it's like, come on, Jess. If you put yourself in that situation, would you be afraid? And I'd be like, yes, I'd be afraid. But I'd still do it because the adrenaline would take over.
Yeah.
But there's certain challenges that I do look at. And sometimes I pull Josh into the room and I'm like, this is so dumb. This is so easy. I could do that. Can't you do that?
Yeah, like the one challenge, they were dunking them in water for like periods of time, and it got longer and longer as they went in, and I'm like, I could hold my breath.
I'm not that good at holding my breath. I probably wouldn't do that great in that challenge. Anything to do with heights, I'd be cool with. That's fine. Whatever. There was one that they had to bungee jump off, go past this fire and climb this rope. I would be fine. I'd get there. I wouldn't come in first place because I'm not athletic or anything like that. But I'd get there.
Any of the eating challenges I could handle, and any of the ones where you're like enclosed in a space covered in like bugs or something, or like snakes, I don't mind that.
Snakes don't bother me as much. Rats don't bother me. I think they're cute. So I would want to save them from the snakes.
Yeah. I've been dealing with dead animals twice this week, so that stuff doesn't really bother me. There was a mouse at work, and then today when I got home, I walked up the stairs and there was just a dead bird laying in our living room.
Blech. So I like animals, but I like them alive. I don't like them dead.
Well, yeah.
But Josh always, he has a nose to scope out, like, oh, where's the dead mice? My mother calls him all the time, says, Josh, can you get this dead mouse under my oven? Or his mom calls him all the time. He just is the person that comes in. He's like a really good exterminator.
Doesn't bother me. That's why I think I should go on Fear Factor and win us some money.
Wasn't there one in your mom's car?
Oh my god. So, yeah, my mom called me frantic, screaming that she was on the side of the road, and I thought she was in a car accident, so I sped over there, and she's on the side of the highway, and I'm like, what's wrong? Because she's outside of the car. She's like, there's a mouse in my car. I'm like, are you kidding? And I opened the door, there's a cute little mouse just sitting on the seat, and I'm like, alright, get out, and I jumped out and ran away. And she was like, I can't get back in that car. I'm like, you need to drive it home, man.
So how she explained it to me was this little mouse went on her lap and was just looking at her. And then she was like screaming and swatting at it. And she was swerving everywhere. And she was like, thank God there was no cars nearby, because I would have hit somebody, because I was just like swerving it to get it off me. At one point she did get it off of her, and it came right back and sat on her lap.
It just wanted to be friends. And I keep telling my mom she needs a pet because she's retired now and she could use a pet, but she didn't want the mouse.
I don't think the mouse is the great pet.
It was a cute little thing.
Yeah, but, keep it outside. What was it, like a field mice?
It was a field mouse.
Okay. Not mice, a mouse.
Meese, yes.
Meese.
But, so anyway, back to 1987. So Jamie, who's played by Kiernan Shipka, you'll probably know her from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, or The Chilling Adventures of
The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Or maybe if you go further back, she was in Flowers in the Attic. Okay. Do you remember that one?
That one I do not.
You do not.
No.
I feel like you would know it just because it is a Lifetime movie. And Josh was always watching Lifetime movies with his mom, because he would walk in and he'd start yelling and being like, it's the same plot.
You know what? Rant time. Can I rant for a second?
Go for it.
Every goddamn Lifetime movie is the same movie. Over and over. They just change the character names. Half the time it's the same actors. It's always the same story. The girl is with a guy and he beats her. That's that. Or he poisons her so she thinks she's sick, so he has to take care of her. Or it's her brother. I don't know. But it's the same movie every time. You could call it right away. There's no reason to watch it, but my mom will watch it all day, every day. So I will sit there and I will just yell at the TV. But, yeah. So, Kiernan Shipka.
It's funny because Flowers in the Attic has to do with, like, kids and use of poisoning and stuff like that. And you basically called a little bit of the plot there.
Told you. It's the same movie.
Yeah. So she wasn't a Disney girl, but she has some new movies coming out soon in 2026. The Shitheads is one of them is called, and Goodbye Girl is to be announced.
She's in a movie called The Shitheads? Is that real?
Yeah, apparently.
I kind of want to see it just based off of the title.
Me too.
I'll see it.
I would see Goodbye Girl too, but it's to be announced, so I don't know if it's going to come out this year, next year.
But
And I believe she's rumored to be in the new Spider-Man movie that's coming out.
Is she?
It's rumored to be. I'm not so sure.
Everybody,
Don't quote me on that.
everyone's gonna be in the new Spider-Man movie. We got Joe Keery. We got
Sadie Sink.
Sadie Sink. Like, everybody's gonna be in this fucking movie. I'm gonna be in
The
that
Stranger
movie.
Things cast strolling up
That's fine.
to be in there.
That would be great.
Joe Keery, like, and when I'm back in Chicago, I feel it.
I like Joe Keery. He's very good. He was in that other movie, Cold Storage, that came out recently. That looks really good. I still have to see that.
He was in another movie that I ended up having to turn off. I'm sorry, I do love Joe Keery too, but the movie looked horrible. He was like a taxi driver.
Oh, Spree.
Yes.
He's like the Uber driver that like attacks people.
Yes.
I haven't watched that. It looked okay. It wasn't good.
So I started it. It did not look good. But if you want to review it one day,
I'll watch it.
I will watch it with you.
Yeah. I'm more so, and I know we're getting off track, but that's what we do. We talk. I'm more so like the 80s movies, like horror movies. Like, I will watch Chopping Mall any day of the week. That, Lost Boys, all of that. But
I like coming of age horror movies. I like funny horror movies. Anything to do with like guessing a killer or something, or who done it. I love those types of films. Anything set in the 80s I love. Anything to do with like a friend group of teens. Those are my favorite types of horror movies too. Those are the horror movies I gravitate towards.
Yeah, of course, because it's like a good adventure story on top of that. But
yes.
Which reminds me, Return of the Living Dead is one we're going to have to do an episode on.
Yeah.
It's such a good movie. But yeah, so she's back in 87. She meets her mom, who's a raging bitch, and basically tells her to fuck off and die in a few different languages in that scene. She then hears about a party. Well, she remembers the party's happening, and that's where the first girl gets murdered. So she's like, alright, if I can't get them to not have the party, I'm going to go tell the cops and have them break it up. So she goes and meets the sheriff, who is played by Randall Park, who you will either know from the Marvel movies and shows, or you will remember him from the hilarious episode of The Office where Jim pranks Dwight into thinking he's an Asian man.
Oh, I love that episode.
It's so goddamn funny because they did it recently. If you've seen the trend on like Instagram and TikTok of famous people like, oh, Dad, what did you look like in the 90s? And John Krasinski did that and then started showing pictures of Randall Park when he was a kid. It was so funny. But
I love The Office. The funny thing is you have to watch The Office for a little bit. Like, you have to watch, like, midway through season 1 to understand the characters and stuff to actually enjoy it. And then go back and rewatch the series.
Yeah.
Because then episode 1 is hilarious.
Episode 1. Yeah, that was the stapler and the Jello, if I remember correct.
Yes. That's correct.
You always get the asshole hipster who's like, no, the British version of The Office is better. It's not better.
No, it's not better.
It's so... British humor is good, but it's so dry, and I just didn't laugh.
You know what American show is better than the British show also? What? Shameless.
I was just thinking that,
yeah. Yep. I knew you were thinking that,
yeah.
But I was like, Shameless. The American version, way better, and we know it's way better because it went on longer.
It did go on longer. But there's a lot of like funny British shows that I can watch. Like IT Crowd I could watch any day of the week. But yeah, definitely not The Office for that. Anyway, getting off track. So she meets the sheriff, Randall Park, and she immediately goes into, there's a party happening tonight. I don't know if you've seen Back to the Future, but I'm living that story right now. I'm from the future. And they immediately, of course, as to be expected, just laughs in her face. And he's like, I hate time travel movies. They never make sense, which is hilarious. And then she's like, I know there's a party tonight. There's going to be a lot of underage drinking. And they don't care because it's the 80s. They don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. You know what I like that this movie also did? Their time travel explanation. I really enjoyed that. Like the whole, think of it as a river. Like a river will stream down, and then think about like jumping out of a river. It's gonna still flow down, and then if you jump back in.
Yeah. Basically, like you wouldn't. If you stop your parents from having you, you wouldn't disappear. You just wouldn't have a home to go back to, basically.
Yeah.
And which is kind of scarier.
Which is very scary. And another movie that did that came out around the same time. It was called Time Cut. I don't think you got a chance to see it. Basically the same exact plot as Totally Killer, but they're sisters instead. She's going back to save her sister instead. But same concept, like if you go back, you might not have a home to go back to.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Totally Killers did it way better.
Yeah. It's a very good way to look at it. And then another fun thing that they do, her friend knows that she went back in time because the time machine's gone and she saw that she went in it, so she knows what happened. But she looks at pictures from 1987 and Jamie starts appearing in the pictures and she's like, holy shit, it's her. So she knows she's back in time. I like that little...
I like that they did that, and I also like that Jamie left a note for her that only her friend would understand. And everybody thought it was like, the cops kind of dismissed it, and they were like, oh, it's this relic or something.
Oh, it's an evil rune.
Yeah.
But it's literally just the letter J.
Yeah, to just tell her, like, you know, stab the machine. J.
Yeah, knife went in the machine.
Yeah. And the cops made it more than what it was.
Yeah. And now that she's like trying to stop the killer now because she wants to save her mom. So she goes to the party and immediately can't get in. And she gets stopped by who is the younger gym teacher from her school, who is just the biggest piece of shit. And he's like beating people up, and he like throws her out very physically and just burps in her face. Like he's just such a tool.
The principal is this little nerdy guy.
Yeah. Just this nerd that she starts hanging out with, and then she finally gets into the party and she goes to where the first murder was supposed to happen, and her being there changes the order of things, of like how it works out, like where the body is and all that. And first murder happens on there's a waterbed involved.
Yeah, so the first murder was supposed to be, and spoiler alert, sorry, it has been out for 3 years now.
3
so
years.
We are going to spoil a little bit just because we enjoy the movie, and you know, maybe you watched it already, or even if you haven't watched it and you're hearing some of our spoilers, I would still watch it because it's just that great.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say who the killer is. How about that?
Okay,
We'll keep that at least.
We'll keep that, and we'll keep maybe the last ending detail out. But we'll go ahead and spoil this little thing for you. So the first murder was with Tiffany, and she was supposed to die in the garage, but because she ended up changing the timeline where Tiffany ended up going to hook up with someone else and went to her parents' room on her waterbed. So she actually ends up dying on her waterbed instead.
And then people in the present day are starting to remember this, and like news clippings change, and then her best friend is like, she's changing things. It's like the Mandela effect, which is another cool little thing that they added. And
Have you ever talked about that on your other podcast?
the Mandela effect?
Yeah.
A little. I'm sure we've touched on it a time or two.
I don't think you've ever done an episode of it.
Not a full episode. We've definitely brought it up, though. Basically, the Mandela effect is you're remembering things from the past, and then you look at it now and it's completely different.
Yeah, like the spelling of the Bernstein Bears.
Bernstein Bears, yeah. The cornucopia and the Fruit of the Loom logo.
Is it with or without?
It's without, but everybody remembers it with.
With.
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember it with.
I remember it with also. It probably was with, and
I'm sure it was.
maybe they changed it on us and they were like, ha ha ha.
Yeah, the Monopoly Man never had a monocle.
Yes, yeah.
That was another one.
He looks better with a monocle, though. They should add a monocle to him.
They should.
Yeah.
Makes him look richer.
Right?
Rich people have monocles. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm robbing your money.
Yeah. But yeah, so the first murder happens, and cops show up. Randall Park shows up, and basically, just the most bumbling, moronic 80s cop you could see. He's like, all right, everybody stay put. This is a crime scene. Everyone just fucks off and leaves.
Yeah. I mean, why do you have all the teenagers out in the front yard? Like, it doesn't even matter what year it is.
Wouldn't they have ran
Today
anyway?
or... Yeah, if they say, oh, everybody go, like, stay here. I'm dipping.
I would have left 20 minutes before that.
Yeah, me too. I would have climbed out a window and been out.
Yeah.
But they don't really care. The dad is very dismissive, too. The other cop that's with him is like, oh, let's question this guy. And then he's like, no, he's fine. That's my daughter's friend.
Yeah, he just doesn't care.
We'll let him go. And his daughter's like, thank you, Daddy. Like...
Ugh. Just the worst cop.
Yeah, he's the worst cop ever. But, I mean, to be fair, like, I guess it's like a small town. So, small towns don't tend to have good cops.
They also
all
did,
the time.
Yeah, they also did mention early on, like, oh, murders don't happen here, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so she leaves the party, her and her friend, and they meet up with her mother, Pam, and she's crying, and then she's like, "How did you know that was going to happen?" And she's like, "Oh, I'm psychic." And she's like, "Oh, really?" And she's like, "Yes, and all of your friends and you are in danger." So then she kind of starts listening to her, but not full on yet. Like, she's like, okay, I'll hear you out. But, like, so they hang out, but she's still kind of like an asshole to her.
Yeah, but she takes out, like, a crystal. And she's like, see, this is my psychic crystal. And then the mom looks at it and it's like, looks legit. Like,
this checks out.
Yeah.
Based on nothing.
And then it's funny because they go to her house now and they're all hanging out. Like, her mom, and her genius friend in the present time, her mother, actually, is also a genius. So she hangs out with them, too, and it's funny because at this point, Olivia Holt, who plays Pam, teenage Pam, goes, oh, did the machines take over? And she's like, no, they don't really, like, destroy the world. More TikTok with dance videos does.
They get us with dance? Oh, they have this whole conversation while watching RoboCop, which was nice.
That would have been funny. Like, that joke wouldn't have aged well if TikTok actually shut down, for real. Because remember, it shut down for, like, a day.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like TikTok is very changed now.
It's all ads. It's annoying. But so she's starting to listen to Jamie, Pam, her mom is starting to listen to her, and So she keeps her around her friends, and she's still trying to warn them, like, hey, another person's about to die at a birthday party. Like, I think we should just have a girls' trip and maybe go to the city somewhere well populated with a lot of people. And her dumb friend is like, yeah, my parents have a condo we can go to and, hang out. So she's like, great, let's do that. So they load up in the car, and Jamie just falls asleep because obviously she hasn't been sleeping. She's in the past and freaking out. And then she wakes up, and they're in the middle of the fucking woods at a cabin. And she's like, what the fuck? She's like, I thought we were going to the city. You said your parents' condo. She's like, oh, I think I meant timeshare.
In the city.
Oh,
sorry, I had to do it.
Always.
It's my stem.
Yeah. And so now they're in the middle of the woods at this creepy cabin, and then the guys show up, her friends, which is her father from the past, Blake.
Yeah, her father, and she actually slips up and tells her teen mom, like, yeah, you're supposed to be with him in the future. And she's like, oh, what? Really?
Yeah, and then that sparks the whole flirty.
Yeah, they get together too soon.
Yeah,
too fast. She tries to break them up a little bit.
Yeah, because they're not supposed to get together until after college, I think it was.
Yeah, that's when she was conceived. So she's asking the mom of her best friend, what happens if my parents are not together in the future? Do I just not exist? And this is when the whole explanation of time travel in the river comes into play. And basically telling her she would just have no life to go back to.
Mm. Which again, scarier than just disappearing. But, so they're in the woods, they're having a party, getting way too stoned, because the sheriff's daughter is there, and she's a major pothead. She's like, I brought brownies. And it's 80s, so it's like the shittiest weed imaginable. So they're all fucked up, but Jamie had like 5 of them and feels nothing. And she's like, well, you must have like a crazy high tolerance. And she's like, no, your weed is just shit. There's like twigs in it and it's garbage. So she's trying to like wrangle them to stay together and get in the house where it's safe. And they just all want to be outside in the hot tub. So she's like, there's pizza inside. So they all run in the house and start looking for this pizza. And they lock her out because they like, oh, you're not being fun. And it's like snowy and cold. And they're like, oh, she's from Canada. It's fine. Because she tells them that she's an exchange student from Canada. And they're like, nah, she's from Canada. She's fine. She can deal with the cold. And then, of course, this is the night that the second murder is supposed to happen.
Yeah, so one of them is supposed to die. So the next person that's supposed to die is Marissa. But it ends up being that Heather dies this time. So she unfortunately was not able to stop the murders, but just changed the order of when the murders happened.
She gets fucked up. Like, the murders in this movie, some of them are funny. I will say that. Some of them are, like, brutal. Like, this one, she gets, like, thrown down the stairs and, like, stabbed a bunch of times and, like, slammed into the wall. Like, it's brutal.
Yeah, this one was brutal, and probably the first one was pretty brutal. The last one, unfortunately, like, we're spoiling it for you a little bit here, but they all die, again, the 3 of them. And the last one to die is Marissa, but she dies the most hilarious way.
Yes. So, when they get to the third murder, they're back in town, and it's supposed to take place in the parking lot of, which this kind of threw me off, because they kept saying, like, oh, we're at the boardwalk, there's no water anywhere. I don't know how it's, anyway. But they're at, like, the fair, and she's supposed to be stabbed to death in the parking lot, but they're like, alright, we're gonna trap the killer in the haunted house, like the
fun house.
the fun house, and we're just gonna kill him.
That's the worst place to trap somebody in.
It's a weird, like I get the thought behind it, but there's so many places for a killer to hide.
Yes.
In a haunted house, they could just stand against the wall and you wouldn't know.
And you wouldn't know exactly. So it was just kind of like the thought wasn't there.
Wasn't all there, but so Jamie's telling her, "Hey, I'm going to give you this alarm, this rape alarm, and when the killer gets to you, hit the button, and we're all going to jump out and kill him."
And it's funny because she's like, okay, like, talking to them, like, okay, like, I want to go and stop the murders, but I don't want to drag you guys into it, so are you with me or are you not? And her mom goes, yeah, like, we're with you, even if we have to sacrifice Marissa.
She's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. Even if Marissa dies, like, it's fine.
The look on her face when she says that, she's like, wait a goddamn minute.
She's like, wait, do I really have to be the bait?
It's like, yep.
And it's like, yep. And they're like, you're just gonna go into the fun house and blow someone. You do it all the time, it's fine.
Yeah, she's like, I do that, don't I?
She's like, I do that. Okay, it's fine. Like...
And then they all go in the fun house ahead of her and, like, hide. And then she's just walking through the fun house and she's, like, calling out to some guy. She's like, all right, I'm here.
Randy.
I'm here to blow you now. And she's just yelling this while walking through a fun house. And eventually the killer does show up. And as the plan goes, they all jump out and start fighting him. But
he's beating them.
Beating the shit out of them.
Beating the shit out of all of them.
And eventually he gets the better of Marissa? Is that...
No, actually he doesn't get the better of Marissa. He gets killed by the sheriff's daughter.
Oh, that's right. She comes out because it's Halloween and she's dressed as the Grim Reaper. And she's carrying around a real scythe because her father, the sheriff, wanted her to be safe. So she stabs him in the chest. And he just drops.
And then they unmask the killer.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, we're not going to tell you who the killer is. However, there ends up being another killer. Dun, dun, dun. We're also not going to tell you who it is. Mm-hmm. But they come out and they slit Marissa's throat. And obviously she's about to go down and die. And she pulls the rape alarm anyways. So she takes the rape alarm down with her. And it's hilarious. It's probably like the best part of the movie.
It's the fun. It's so out of nowhere. Like she's just hitting the button and just falls. And they start freaking out and try to fight him. And then he's too good, of course, because he knows what they're gonna do. And they all run away. And then we find out. Do we find out who the killer is right then? No, that was later on.
Yeah, we find out the killer later. But we'll leave it at that so we don't reveal it.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Too much. But it does have it has a solid ending. I would have loved for there to be a second one. How it ends fine.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't end bad or anything. However, I would have loved for them to make a second one because it was just such a fun and funny movie. And it was very enjoyable. It has 80s music in it, everything, and like the whole concept of time travel. And it just kept you very like entertained the whole time. It was nice and light. That I would have loved if they did a second movie.
I feel like they easily could have. But I know they were talking about doing it at one point, but it's 3 years later now. I doubt they're going to.
3 years later, yeah. I mean, if they do decide to have one, they would have to do one within the next couple years because obviously eventually they'll get too old to do it.
Yeah. But I would watch a second one of that, absolutely. We watch that movie every year now for around Halloween time.
Yeah, we watch that movie a lot. I usually put it on for anybody who hasn't watched that movie. I always ask them, "Have you watched Totally Killers?" And if they say no, I'm instantly putting that movie on. I've watched it about probably like 10 times.
Yeah.
Because I just enjoy it so much. I have not... Every person I've put it on for has never said, "I hate that movie, it's not for me, I don't really like it." Because it has a little bit of everything for everyone.
Yeah.
It's a good movie if you have preteens or teenagers and you're starting to introduce them to horror movies. I would also recommend this one.
It doesn't take itself serious at all, which is good. I mean, there's a lot of like, I wouldn't say heartfelt moments, but like you do feel for people at times, but it's more comedy than anything.
Yeah. At one point she's saying like, you shouldn't talk to your mom that way. You should be nice to her and stuff. She just cares about you. And Pam goes, "Nobody wants to hear about you talking about your fucking mom."
Oh yeah, the way she words it though, she's like, "I'm saying this to you because I'm your friend and I care about you. No one wants to hear what you think about your fucking mom."
Yeah.
It's just so brutal, but she delivers it like so cold.
And it's so funny because it's like, that is her mom.
Yeah.
Do you think the movie would have been different if she were to be like, "I am your daughter"?
Yes.
Do you think Pam would have taken it well?
No, not at all. She didn't take anything well in that movie. She was so high that she like cuts her hand at one point and doesn't notice for a second. She's like all fucked up in that movie.
Yeah, she was mean in the beginning, but as the movie went on, she wasn't as mean. Her friends, however, like Tiffany was the mean girl. She was the Regina George of that group. And Heather and Marissa were her goons.
They were just dumb as shit.
And Pam was one of her friends. However, like, she had moments of not being friends with that group because she really did not care for Tiffany.
Yeah, you do, as the movie goes on, you do find more and more out about her friends, and you start to learn, like, why Pam turns out to be a nicer person later in life.
To be fair, I think Pam turns out to be a nicer person later in life because those friends died. Damn. So she probably... And I feel so bad saying that because, like, you shouldn't wish death on anybody. But think about it. She doesn't have those friends anymore, so she has to be friends with someone else now.
Yeah. Someone nicer, hopefully.
Someone nicer. Yeah, so she probably got herself mixed up with different friend group, or maybe she was like, let me be nice because these girls probably died because they were mean to someone.
Yeah, I guess. And then her dad just remains a dumbass. He's still kind of stupid in present day.
He's still stupid in present day, but at least the parents are still together.
That's true.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how their relationship would have worked.
They got together after college. So yeah. I guess they had time to find themselves and not be shitty anymore.
They got together after college the first time around, but because Jamie changed the order, she got her parents together earlier. Mm-hmm. So it's actually surprising that they end up still being together in the present time.
Yeah. But I like these kinds of movies, like the more modern horror movies or comedy, whatever, that are set in the 80s, I always enjoy. Like, we'll talk about this one also. There's another movie called Vicious Fun, which is set in, I think it's 83, 84.
Yes.
But it's always so well done. They always have like good music, and I don't know. It's just a great style for movies.
I know nothing beats 80s music.
Yes.
My mother was pretty much a teenager around that time, and teenager around like the 90s. I guess middle school, she was like in the 80s.
Yeah.
If you think about it. So she lives off of that music, and we were listening to Paula Abdul, and she was like, oh my god, you need to watch the music video of Cold Hearted. And I was like, okay, bet. Like, I'll watch it. And I liked it a lot. By the time I put on the third song, Josh was like, please turn that off.
I hate Paula Abdul.
It sounds the same.
It's like a fucking Lifetime movie. All of her songs are the same. I hate Paula Abdul.
That's just how the sound was, though. Then, if you think about it, the artists of today are the same thing. It's all preference. Like, I feel like any artist you can pull up and argue that their music sounds the same. After a while, like, you make your sound and you just start sounding the same. Like, at one point, I liked Ed Sheeran, but his stuff sounds all the same now and just, like, more made for radio. And once it's more made for radio, I'm like, I don't like it.
Takes all the soul out of it.
It takes all the soul out of it. Doesn't mean the artist is necessarily bad. It's just preference at that point.
Same thing with like Ariana Grande and Katy Perry. It's all the same shit.
Oh, Katy Perry peaked already.
She peaked a long time ago.
A long time ago. I remember the last album she came out with flopped so bad. It was horrible because she was still trying to do the same sound, but it was like, we're not in 2010s no more, so that's like not the sound anymore of today. So it's like you have to kind of age a little bit. Your sound has to kind of shift a little bit in order to be relevant.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
Oh, she's trying. Sorry to get off topic, but Katy Perry's trying everything she can to be relevant. Remember when she was trying to be an astronaut? And she went on that, like, 5-minute space trip with other people from, like, daytime TV, and it was the most cringy shit.
Yeah, unfortunately, I see her in the next coming years being on The Masked Singer.
Oh, God.
Because we had talked about, like, Josh and I love The Masked Singer. We love to sit there every Thursday and come up with, like, who is it? Like, sometimes we're spot on. Like, we're pretty good at guessing if we know who it is. If we know the person, then we're pretty good at guessing. I think Josh is pretty good at guessing more comedians. Yeah. Because I don't really know comedians too well. And I'm good at, like, guessing, like, pop stars or any Disney people. I'm like, oh, it's so-and-so. Yeah. And everything. We think Ashley Simpson's on this year.
She definitely is.
We also think her hubby's on. What was his name? Evan Ross. Evan Ross, I believe his name was.
Yeah, I guarantee it. He's the fucking Stingray.
Yes, we think he's the Stingray. We also think Normani from Fifth Harmony is on there too. I also believe she's on there. I don't know who else. I mean, and the sports people we're not really good at. No. We don't watch sports. Josh knows a little bit more sports people than I. When it comes to sports, I'm like, no, I don't know anything.
Yeah. I've guessed like 2 or 3 this season. 2 or 3 this season, I've guessed, but that's it. But yeah, if Katy Perry shows up on The Masked Singer within the next couple, like, you go on The Masked Singer when your career is basically over.
Yeah, when you peaked or you're trying. Also, like, I also feel like people who haven't had their big break go on that show, like, the younger ones go on that show, and it does bring attention to you. Yeah. A lot. Because some of the old artists have been on that show, and I've been like, oh my god, I love them. I remember season 5, I believe it was, JoJo was on that show.
JoJo, yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, I love JoJo. I love her old music and stuff. She has some good newer music too. But she unfortunately got screwed over by her label. So when she was like well known, she kind of like crashed down. So, but she's doing some good stuff too.
Masked Singer's running out of ideas.
Masked Singer's running out of ideas. T-Pain won the first season, remember?
He sounded great, though.
Oh my god, he was so amazing.
He was really good, but they're running out of ideas because they just did what was it, Care Bears Night? Like, what? Why?
Yeah, Care Bears Night. That was insane. There's some memories I go back and I'm like, that's hilarious. Like, I believe it was season 9, Neo won. And he came in as a girl cow and pretended like he was a girl.
Smart.
And he tried to like dance like a girl and stuff. But then when he opened his mouth, you could tell it was Neo right away. But it stumped the judges like first week.
It's a good idea, though.
Yeah, and they were like, that is a great idea. And he ended up winning because obviously, like, how do you beat Neo?
You don't.
You don't. He's amazing. And he was like, yeah, like I knew I couldn't disguise my voice, so he's like, I did other things.
Yeah.
The following year was season 10. So they did something a little special for that one. So Kevin Hart comes on.
Yep.
And even though his voice is disguised and everything, the minute he starts singing, you're just like cracking up hysterically because you're like, it's Kevin Hart.
Because he can't sing. We'll start there. But he comes out as he's like a book?
Yeah.
It's like a giant book, and he's just singing, and immediately you recognize the voice, and everyone on the panel is like, that's fucking Kevin Hart. Like, goddamn.
They even made them guess, and the judges were just cracking up hysterically. And then Robin finally was like, there's only one person that I know with that voice, and it's Kevin Hart. So then he was like, you know what? Screw this. So he just rips off his costume, reveals himself, looks at Nick Cannon, and says, I tricked you.
I pranked you. I got you.
I pranked you. I
you
got
fell
you.
for it.
Oh and he's like, what do you mean? And they were like bickering like an old married couple. And it was just hilarious. We were cracking up. And then he started thanking his kids on the TV. And he was like, I don't got as many as you. But yeah I got them.
Nick Cannon with like 50 kids.
Nick Cannon with 50 kids. Tiffany Haddish went on that show and was like, be my baby daddy to him.
She's hilarious. I knew that was her right away. I recognized the voice.
She's hilarious. I love her. She's great.
Yeah.
She was in that new Haunted Mansion movie. Well, not that new.
It was a couple years ago. I don't know if I liked it. I didn't like it as much as the Eddie Murphy one.
No, I didn't like it as much as the Eddie Murphy one. I was a little taken back. I feel like I was catfished a bit when it came to that film because I thought we were getting a second Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy and his kids and everything and like the original people from that movie. And I didn't know that they were going to do a whole new story, different haunted house and all of that stuff. I was like lame because of that.
Well, that house was based more on the Disneyland one, which is more of like a bayou feel.
Yeah, which is fine, but I feel like I should have probably watched the trailer before going to watch it. And I think we watched it in the movie theater.
Yeah, we went to the movies.
We did go to the movies. Josh and I love to go to the movies. We love to eat popcorn, people watch, and watch a movie if it's good or bad.
Yeah, we've rented the theater out before.
Yeah, for my birthday, actually.
Yeah. We should just... I wish... If we had money, I would just do that regularly to not have to deal with other people, but...
Yeah. It's really fun to, like, be with your family and rent out the theater and eat popcorn and watch a movie together.
Yeah. I've seen people rent the theater out and then hook it up so they could play Mario Kart on the screen, like split screen. I want to do that so bad.
That sounds fun. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
That'd be great.
Yeah. But I do love me watching some good movie at the movie theater, even though there's times we watch pretty bad ones, too. But we're kind of like, it's okay.
Just as long as we're out of the house watching it.
Out of the house watching it.
Makes up for it.
Sometimes we watch old movies around Halloween time. They throw like some horror movies or Halloween themed movies in the movie theater. And we went to watch Hocus Pocus in the movie theater, and it was just so fun to watch that.
Yeah. We own the DVD, and I've seen it a million times, but it's still, seeing it in the theater is a different feel.
Yeah, it was an experience, and people are quoting the movie with you, and it's other people who are lovers of the movie, or sometimes people haven't watched the movie. I don't know how you haven't watched the movie, but they go to the movie theaters with their friend, and they're like, oh my god, that's a great movie. And I'm like, yeah, how have you not watched it?
No.
But some people are just not movie people.
No. Your cousin is not a movie person.
My cousin, her husband, is also not a movie person either.
No.
They're video game people.
Yeah. We always like, did you see that? And I'm like, we don't fucking watch movies ever.
I know, because you get so excited when you watch something really good that you're just like, oh my god, I need somebody to talk with about it. That's what I do with my coworkers. We're always exchanging TV shows. We tend to watch more girly TV shows because I primarily work with more women in my department. And we're always exchanging different shows to watch, and then we're rushing each other to finish it because one person out of the group has finished the show and wants to talk about it so badly. So we're like looking at each other like, hurry up, hurry up.
And then you got Monday night movie nights at our house.
We have Monday night movie nights. I usually have it with my two cousins and one of my best friends. And Josh tends to cook for us. And he bakes cookies and everything. And he's just a great host.
I try.
Josh is a great husband, too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're not so bad yourself.
Aww. I am a spoiled princess, though, I will say.
It's fine. So are our cats.
Yes, they are spoiled princesses and princes.
Yeah. But that's all I got for Totally Killer. Great movie set in the 80s. It's a lot of fun, a lot of gore.
Yeah. Watch it. It's amazing. Again, you can find that on Prime. And yeah, that's it. That's all we have for you guys. Avoid the knife. Keep your life.
Yeah. Great quote from the movie.
Great quote from the movie.
But thank you guys for listening. We will be back next week with a whole nother episode, a whole nother movie. And yeah.
Yeah, if you have any requests, let us know. We will watch it. Even if it's horrible, we will watch it and we will review it.
We love a good bad movie.
We love a good bad movie. Movies that should be considered bad, we tend to like.
It's true. Unless you're Slender Man.
Unless you're Slender Man.
Yes. But thank you very much. We will see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.